right, perfect. So, man, tell me about Knuckles Up late night. Um,
Yeah.
another great production.
Yeah. I mean, they always put on a good show. They got top level production quality. Like for the people that haven't gone to see it live, I recommend definitely going to check it out. They have a top level production crew, probably better than I mean, their production level is probably better than like East versus West, like they put a lot into it.
It's the best I've seen, man. And it has this vibe of like, if you want to really like put the sport on a next like platform, that's the platform for it because it gives you that UFC vibe, man. Those guys that put on that show, it's amazing. I was able to see the first two, but man, crazy, just a crazy production event and the quality and the way they treat their athletes too, like they give them those care pack just like UFC.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like makes you feel like you're part of this like a awesome event, man. So I didn't get to see it. I was busy. My kid had jujitsu tournament. I was there most of the day, and then we came home, and it was kind of just a rough rough day. But I didn't get to check, and I want to watch the replay probably later on this afternoon. But I want to talk to you a little bit about it. I know you were there as usual, supporting arm wrestling, because that's what you do. 98% represents, supporting arm wrestling. So,
Thanks,
yeah,
man.
tell me what you thought about the event and tell me about the matches.
So the event was awesome as always. I mean, they even take care of the spectators, like you get there, get a little gift bag, especially I mean they always like because we support them, they always gift us 98 percenters like a free VIP pass and stuff. So that's pretty awesome that they do that just for us like promoting them and stuff. So that's pretty cool. Those guys are great to us. So we go to every Knuckles Up I've been to so far. So, and I'll continue to do that because it's awesome. But matches were great, man. Exciting the way they let the guys like choose their walkout music, and then they get the fog going, and then they're walking through the sparks. I mean, the production level of it is just like absolutely what we need because most, like East versus West, all these other guys, like they're catering, like the people that are watching that stuff are arm wrestlers, not non-arm wrestlers. Where I feel like the Knuckles Up thing and like guys like them and even like Arm Gods, like a non-arm wrestler could watch that and get excited because of the level of intensity that is at the event. Like if they went to an event and experienced it themselves, it has like that WWE, WWF feeling. You know what I mean? Like it's exciting to be there.
Yes.
It's hard. Like a lot of the events, man. It seems like they're just putting it on for arm wrestlers. So how can it grow if it's just us watching it? Because you see refs stopping the match, and you're like, man, what? Like we know why, but someone watching is like, why the hell? They don't know the rules and all that. So to see the excitement with like knuckles up level stuff, that's what the sport needs, I think, to really get to the non arm wrestlers.
No, I agree 100% because that's our biggest thing, like we have all these guys come into the sport. I've been in the sport for like 12 years. So I've seen UAL, I've seen WAL, seen East versus West, and all these other little, promotions, try to excel and push the sport. But it seems like there's one thing missing, and you touched on it right there. I watched the video the other day. I forget the guy's channel, but it's like just arm wrestling techniques or something. But he was talking about the same thing where arm wrestling is such a small niche. Like if you look in your community, how many people in your town arm wrestle? You know what I mean? Like, so there's not a lot of people in the sport. So if it's not put up on a production, like you're saying, like, and making it friendly to the viewer because like you said, every time you go to these big huge events like East versus West, if you pan to the crowd, there's hardly anyone there, and it's all arm wrestling associated people, like either their family members there,
Yeah.
a couple fans, and then when they put the fake fans in the stadium
Oh
like they
yeah.
did with the WAL, it gives it
Yeah.
like a MTV cheesy vibe, and people
Yeah.
don't really take it seriously. But with Knuckle Up, I mean, it's really like a sporting event. You really see like the sport event, and it's really cool to hear that they give back to like you guys because you promote it so much. So it's nice to see that being equally out. Everybody's kind of helping each other in the sport, and I feel like that's a key ingredient here. But it's really having it user friendly, and like you said, when you're watching a match, because even myself, like when you watch East versus West, for example, it's like 6, 8 hours of arm wrestling. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
long day of arm wrestling. And because we love the sport, we watch it, but we're still kind of, disgusted a little bit by how
Yeah.
long it takes to get the production going. And that is going to be hard to keep people interested in the sport that aren't really, they're only fans or they're just checking it out. So, I
Oh
feel
yeah.
like we're on the right track with Knuckles Up. They're really pushing the envelope to making it a lot more user friendly.
Oh yeah. And I kind of feel like if Knuckles Up can do it and they're brand like they're new to it relatively, why isn't East versus West or these big guys that have funding and all that? Why aren't they doing the production to that level? Like, what's stopping them from, you know, doing the same thing?
Yeah, I
Like, they
I want
keep it very minimal, you know?
yeah. Yeah, I wonder too, like what how you can get a group of guys coming in and they're really good at even the announcers, like besides, the Australian arm wrestler. I mean, even their like production, the way they do their announcing, it's all like it flows so well.
Yeah.
And the cinematography is just amazing. Like
Yeah.
it's incredible. So maybe that's the lack where, they're not,
Yeah.
they don't have guys in there focusing on that part of the
See
because
it.
I've even seen it here in Florida where they spent some time at the very beginning FAL doing like, trying to really get a good production going with the live streams. And then I've seen them kind of, get a little bit worse each time.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's anyone's fault particularly. Sometimes you have bad internet connections. Sometimes it's not set up the way you want it to be set up. But
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like if it was spent more on the production side, you'd really get more eyes on the sport. So
Yeah. Well, Knuckles Up is lucky because one of the guys on their actual like arm wrestling team, the High Five Club, uh, he owns a production company, so he has all that equipment and like,
well, there
so
you go.
like they got they've made him like a partner. So I mean that guy like has all the stuff to do that level of production. So I'm sure they're getting a better deal than the average guy. But that dude does amazing work. His name's Joe, and man, he loves arm wrestling, so he's like happy to do it. He's even offered us for like our big winter blast, like if we want to have him do some stuff there. So I'm like, man, that would be awesome.
That's
So
incredible. Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
they're all very about the sport, very they're all friendly, great guys over there at Knuckles Up.
Maybe they could do some YouTube videos on how to help other organizations get into like a template that they could follow and they could help out.
Yeah,
And then we could all have, kind of all these events on that high level of production.
yeah. Cool thing too, they made an announcement on you know how they stopped doing arm wrestling at the Arnold's? Well, now Knuckles Up is doing it.
Nice.
So that was pretty
Nice.
cool to hear.
That
Yeah.
is cool. Yeah, because that's a great event, man. The
Yeah.
Arnold were always, and it's funny because I feel like, not to get too sidetracked, but I feel like too, like with all these big organizations like East versus West, and it kind of like it kind of like fades away those events, because they used to be like the Arnolds used to have the Dennis Saplenkoffs, and you'd have these people coming out to those events now. And it's kind of like now that there's only really people are focused on maybe one or two big organizations now. We don't
Yeah.
see those events, really,
Right.
getting out there like nationals and stuff now. It's a whole different world. Before, when I first started competing, everybody wanted to get a national title, and now it's not really, I don't see that as much anymore.
Yeah.
It's
Like they're
like,
not hungry to get it. Like it.
yeah, and people aren't into like, they're not arm wrestling as much once they get onto the high level. Like you're not going
Right.
to see a Paul Lynn doing anything in North America right now.
Right.
As far as like, wanting to get ranked or having ranked matches against those people, and which I understand, but
Yeah.
it just, it's just it takes away a little bit from North American arm wrestling.
I agree.
So
I
tell me a
mean,
little bit about these matches. What was the one of the matches that you I mean, I knew I got the winners, but the Wayne Withers and
oh my
Mega
God,
Mike match, like,
dude, I did not expect that.
no, me either. I thought Wayne's
I
hand
mean,
and
I knew it'd be a battle, but
tell me
everyone in the crowd, you could tell, thought Wayne was going to smash him. And Mike was impressive, dude. We were like, the crowd was going crazy.
how
But
did that match
yeah,
go down? How did he win that match?
Mega Mike,
Yeah,
I mean, he just
curled him in.
power like that. Yeah. I mean,
He hooked him.
just he was just stronger. You could tell there was a gap in strength. Definitely took Wayne's wrist, and
Wow.
we were just like, holy, like it just did not expect it to be that dominating of what even one way or another. Like I didn't think that Wayne would be like super dominating Mike either. I thought it was going to be kind of a lot closer, but Mike had too much. So it was pretty crazy. Mike like just grabbed him, and when someone's trying to slip and they're just kind of like holding on to their thumb, he
Yeah.
literally dragged him down like by his thumb, like
We got
and
Rogers in the
pinned him.
chat talking, saying that he top rolled him. So basically, like what you're saying.
Yeah, like you could tell he was trying to go into a hook, but like Wayne was like pulling out, but he was like just pinning him by like one finger, like held on to that thumb and just got that top roll in. So it was impressive because like most people slip out of that, but Mike held on to that and got the pins. It was pretty crazy, man.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Mega Mike's kind of, back. He's on social media now. I see him posting a little bit of his training. His son's arm wrestling too. So he's getting a little more known now. And now, traveling and, big win on Wayne. I mean, that's gonna elevate him to some high level matches here in the future.
Oh, after that win, yeah, I could see because there were a few people like challenging him that now I'm looking at the challenge going, no way, dude. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
don't even take that match.
It's funny. A couple years ago, I was trying to get him to come to Florida and have a match, and I'm glad that didn't happen. It's like,
After seeing him,
this is way before he was still kind of not as big. Like I think he was floating around 230, so we were kind of relatively. But now he's big and
yeah,
super strong. But he's always been a strong guy. Everybody from Cali was always saying, "Watch out for Mega Mike."
yeah,
It's like him and Jerome Loud. They don't have a social media presence, but man, when they're at the table and in events, they really level up, and
yeah.
it's really interesting to watch.
It was hard to see like every part of every match because there's so many people there and everyone's like talking to you. You know what I mean? So it was like you'd
Yeah.
miss little bits of each match and stuff. But from what I saw the most, was him grabbing on and just dragging him down down with one finger, But it
So
was all good matches, man. All of the matches were pretty exciting.
Roger and Uncle John's match,
Oh,
that
yeah,
was that exciting as well?
it was pretty good. Roger won, obviously, but
What was the score of that match? Was it 3-2?
I think so, or
Okay.
3-2 or 3-1.
Was
So
that a left-handed or right-handed match?
I was right-handed.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's good, man. Roger's a good competitor. It's good to see that.
yeah.
What about?
Roger did call him out lefty though after.
Oh,
So
did he? Okay,
so they
yeah.
might do a lefty
I
match in the
yeah, I
future.
think that's Uncle John's dominant arm. I
Yeah.
think so.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
definitely is.
And Roger's got a good left too. So we were messing around at Monster Factory left-handed, and
Yeah.
he felt all right. He felt good. So BJ and his matchup, he ended up losing. How was that match?
I missed some of that match
Okay, I
because they
got you.
did like a halftime thing and yeah, I missed most of that match. So I know the outcome, but I didn't really
Yeah,
see the actual match.
Tom Holland, he lost his match also.
Yeah.
And then the Aussie and the Jason Merlot matchup.
Oh, dude, that was
How
exciting.
was that? That sounded like it was really
That was an awesome match, dude. That was really good. Um, I think Mario just had a little more strength.
okay.
He came down 31 pounds for
I was
that
just
match.
gonna say, like, did
So
they made a weight class like he
yeah,
came down to Jason's weight?
yeah, he came down 31 pounds.
Wow.
So, I was thinking like, is that going to work in his advantage or is it going to affect him? But I think because he's usually a higher weight, I think he had a little more strength.
Yeah. He held on to enough strength to
Yeah.
yeah, that's incredible,
I mean,
man.
they were wars. You know, I wouldn't have voted against either one of them. Like if I had to bet on them, it was like I didn't know which way that would go.
No, I know. I saw Bowen talking about the match, and he said he always goes with Jason. He's a fan
Yeah.
of Jason, but of
Yeah.
course,
Same with us because he's our local guy.
yeah,
But in that match, I was like, man, Mario is a big dude, normally 31 pounds heavier, and he looked strong as hell. But super nice guy too. He's funny as hell.
he is. He's great. I got to meet
Yeah,
him at a practice here a couple years ago.
that's
The
awesome.
first time he came to America, he did Arizona States, and then we got to practice and pull a little bit. Yeah, he's a really
Nice.
funny guy, big kid, and the Lachlan kid that he brought to
Lachlan Adair.
no, not Adair, but there's another Lachlan kid.
Oh yeah, yeah, I know who you're talking about.
He's a giant, and
Yeah.
yeah, those two came down. But yeah. Speaking of Lachlan and Ryan, I saw him in that new kid pulling. Oh
Oh
man,
yeah.
that kid is a
That kid's
beast.
gonna be something,
Yeah,
dude.
I know, man. He's
Holy
so
jeez.
strong. It's amazing seeing all these great like strength athletes just coming out
Yeah.
of the woodwork. You know what I mean? Like the Brian Shaws.
Oh, that's it's gonna
It's
take someone like that to like beat some of these big dudes like
like a
LeBron.
LeBron. Yeah,
Some
maybe someone
monster's
like
gonna have to come out of the woodwork and just
I know. I know. That's incredible. So listen, man, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about just the history of how you like got into the game of arm wrestling. What kind of got you into the sport?
uh I mean, just like everyone else, arm wrestling at lunchtime when you're a kid and stuff, watching Over the Top, you know. Um, but I didn't get into it till, 44 now. So I got into it like right around 40. Um, Started going to the practice, loved it. And then we were talking about how there's nothing really for like us 98 percenters. The concept is that like Devin, John Brzenk, those are like your 2 percenters. And then everyone else is the other 98% of the sport trying to get there. So that's kind of our concept. And we were talking about it at practice. And then Paul Lynn actually was like, dude, that's a great concept. And he was like, you should go home and start a Facebook page on this right away. So that's what I did. And then that's kind of what happened. And it's been growing ever since.
Yeah, like you guys got 90 or sorry, 9K. You got 9K members here.
Yeah.
You guys have been really promoting the sport and I like that concept. I never really understood the concept at the very beginning.
Yeah.
I saw you guys, of course, and I never really thought of the niche of it. And then I saw like at the very beginning a lot of people, trolling people like and I didn't even think it was part of your guys's
Yeah. In the beginning, it was people thought we were part of that troll army.
yeah, remember that
And
guy, that
yeah.
that English guy, that kind of little
Oh,
chubby
yeah, yeah. I
Grant
know
Grant something, I think his
Grant
name.
Diet
Yeah.
or whatever. Yeah.
yeah, like all those people and stuff. So I just put everybody in that thing, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, like, and then I started watching some of your streams and stuff, and then I heard you talking about the 98%, and you're right, like there isn't anything out there for guys like that
Yeah.
because everybody's focused on the elite guys,
Right.
and the kind of, once you're focused on that, it's kind of discouraging for other guys if they don't have any events to do. You know what I mean? Because who wants to go? Because there's a big gap when you're an amateur or a novice
Oh
guy, and then
yeah.
you into these classes. And I spent the first couple years just getting my ass beat. You know what I mean? Because you
Yeah.
only have a few seconds to get up there and learn how to, arm wrestle someone that you don't from another state. And it's
Right.
hard to kind of to get data on them, especially when you don't have any real experience, So
Yeah.
that can get discouraged. People can get discouraged by that, especially strong guys getting beat by
Yeah.
like, smaller guys. Cause that was my kind of experience. We
Right.
had a 155er here, Jeremy Pappy, he's just a strong kid. And he was just smashing the shit out of me. I was like 275 at the time. I'm thinking, what's going on here? Like, but
Yeah.
it intrigued me, and I
Right.
like the challenges. So
Then
it,
you're
it,
like, I
it
need
didn't
to know how to
discourage
do
me.
that.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like,
Right.
but it is embarrassing, and your ego gets blasted, and
Yeah.
crushed during
Right.
the times. But you do get to learn. But I like the concept of you guys promoting and helping. And with
Thanks.
that being said, your events that you've been having, like Winter Blast. I
Yeah.
mean, the last Winter Blast that you guys had. I mean, I'm
Seriously.
intrigued now. I want to come. I want to come to the next
It's
one.
awesome.
And how many competitors did you guys have at your last Winter Blast?
287.
Man, that's incredible.
We had 585 entries, and it was just over 1,100 matches in the one day. So
That's
our reps
incredible.
were exhausted by the end of the day for sure.
I can imagine, man.
And we had a
Oh,
couple like that bailed last minute, so we actually would have had two more tables running had that not happened. So
tell me about the energy, man. And it's got to be
oh,
incredible.
it's
Like,
crazy.
Paul was talking about. That's where he had his super match, right?
Paul.
Um, Paul Italia. Is that where the
Oh yeah,
match
yeah. He had his
was?
match with Nanya.
Yeah. So like,
Um,
I heard him talking
that
about
was a
the
mess
energy and
though.
the people just crowding the table, like just the
Yeah.
energy and the people there. So tell us a little bit about how that's like compared to other events that you've been to.
So Sue Fisher, she started Winter Blast like way back in the day. It was like one of the tournaments up here. And she stopped doing it for many years. And then, we became friends. And then she was like, hey, would you guys be willing to bring back my Winter Blast tournament under like 98? And we were like, yeah, of course. So we did. And it just started every year. It's gotten bigger and bigger. And we're the first time we were expecting like maybe 75 to 100 people, and like 200 people showed up. And we were like, holy shit. But the thing that the thing that's making it so big is because we cater more to like low level pro, amateur, novice. So when I first started, like all the amateurs would barely come out to tournaments in our area because they were like intimidated by like the pros and all the guys up here. Because there's a lot of top level arm wrestlers here. So when you see like Paul Lynn showing up and like Mike Aiello and these guys, like, so there was a lot of like intimidation. And then we made it cool to be like an amateur. You know what I mean? So like now, like our amateur classes are like 30 deep up here, and the pro classes are the small ones. You know what I mean? So we
Yeah.
kind of flipped it a little. And I think that's why we have such a good turnout, because a lot of the lower level guys feel comfortable coming out and coming to our tournaments. So
No, that's
makes it
incredible.
it makes it fun, you know?
And that's the key to making the sport grow, because that's a good starting point for people, that they can get in the sport and not get intimidated and
Yeah.
compete at a level where they're not getting smashed every time. They can actually have matches, challenge match, super matches, whatever you want to call them, within their own abilities and
Yeah.
still be a part of the sport. And I think that's great. And then if they get it to the next level, then they can go on to the next level and still, you know what I mean? Like be a
Yeah.
part of how you can grow in the sport. And
Yeah.
I feel like when people shit on those kind of events and don't support the amateurs or the guys getting into
Yeah.
the sport and they only focus on the 2%, there's
Which is
no growth.
pretty
There's
much
no
most organizations like only focus on the top. Like East versus West is not for the amateur. So um that's where we're different. Like we're not anyone's competition really because we don't cater to like the two percenters.
Do you
So
find you get support from the other promoters
um
that are like, doing
we
more at
do.
the
I mean
high
we
level?
yeah, we get support from like Knuckles Up, Arm Gods. Um East versus West, not so we had some Engen issues lately. We're enemies of the sport now. But
Now, how
yeah.
tell us a little bit about that. I know I've caught some live streams. I know that it kind of all stemmed, and not to beat a dead horse because everybody basically said what needed to be said with this, but like with the whole thing with Sarah and stuff, like how did
Yeah.
that get involved? I know you were saying you mentioned that Ingen mentioned you on a live stream and kind of was making fun
So
of
yeah.
98%
So
kind of
he did a post actually that said basically what he was trying to say is that he thinks we are trying to say that we represent 98% of like all 98 percenters in the whole world. And I'm like, dude, no, it's just like a brand name and a concept. Like we're not claiming to be like
and,
the
and
king.
you're in and you're in America, so it's
Yeah.
not like you're got Europeans out there that are part of
Yeah.
it
I
too.
think it
So
was kind of like a
do you think
like
he was
a
mad because he was thinking that it's like you have 98% of the arm wrestling population, which it kind of does make sense when you break it down to American stats.
yeah,
You are kind of supporting the 98% of that group of people, and
right.
the other 2% are the elites.
Yeah.
That's where they're getting paid,
Yeah.
and that's where there's sponsorships involved and stuff. So do you think there was just some kind of
I
jealousy there
think
about
I
that,
don't know
or
if
like,
it's jealousy, but it's like
or a misconception
mis
because of
misconception
the
of the
language
language
barrier?
barrier. Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like too, like because of the culture, and you can even get into like religious views on how people think about things and
Yeah.
how that might be presented, how
Yeah. I
they don't
think
understand that, and they're not real interested in the kind of amateur guys
uh,
anymore, even though at the beginning they were,
yeah.
you know, they evolved from that. And not saying they don't help people get better in the sport. I mean, I know in Europe they do have like
Yeah.
a lot of stuff going on in classrooms and pushing arm wrestling, so I guess that's not it,
Yeah. You would
but I
think they'd embrace us because like the guys that are winning a huge tournament like Winter Blast, those are the guys that should be going to East versus West because they're crushing a ton of people to get there, you know?
yeah.
And they're, you know, the guys that like Paul Lynn talk about, like Kevin Kaler, guys like that, that no one really knows, but you show up to a Winter Blast not knowing who someone like Kevin is, and you're going to get smashed and be like, who was that guy? You know what I mean? Those are the guys that really should be getting these big opportunities. Most of the people going East versus West are guys that like Engen and them already have their eyes on anyway, and that are proud. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
well, that was sort of the case, which it was kind of weird because like Gabby and Sarah were already at that event, and not saying that they
Yeah,
shouldn't pull for the money or whatever,
right.
but maybe the next person below that should get the opportunity to go, or maybe I don't even, I mean, it's just
Yeah,
it's a weird concept because I feel like personally, maybe you let someone else get a shot because you already have those matches, but
like
I
the
get
Sarah
pulling
and
for the
Gabby don't.
money, and I get like, sometimes, like especially in Sarah's case and Gabby's case, there's not a lot of girls out there that challenge them. So maybe it's just getting out there and pulling because they love the sport, but
Yeah,
I just feel like other girls, they miss an
yeah,
opportunity on that. And I feel like too, like when you kind of like want to kind of argue and put competitors down, it just gives the sport a bad look, And I feel like I said, I've been in the sport for 12 years. I've seen three major organizations come in here. We got UAL when I first got into the sport, it was all about UAL, and they were making people sign contracts, and then you wouldn't be able to compete at certain events and stuff. And I get when people are spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on productions and events
Yeah,
and stuff that they want to, have copyright. But it seems like every few years people come into the sport
yeah,
and they try to really like dictate it and
yeah.
really control it. And
Kind of
then,
feel like that's Engen right now.
yeah, well, I feel like it's like all these big promoters that come in, that seems to be the case.
Yeah.
But maybe more with Ingen is I feel like it's a culture thing and
Oh yeah.
more of a different outlook on the sport, because if you look at the Europeans, they're more professional, I
Yeah.
feel like, with the sporting events, the way they have them. And I feel like they look at American arm wrestling as kind of a joke. And
Yeah.
I feel like the East versus West is kind of like a way of kind of bringing over the American pullers to get kind of like outclassed
Smashed.
sometimes. Yeah,
Yeah.
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 And I
Yeah.
feel like that gets set up like that. And you can look at some of these matches that have happened where people really got outclassed over there. And I'm
Yeah.
not saying that that happens because of the level of competition,
Yeah.
but I remember Travis said this on a live stream when they were first starting East versus West, and I tried to find it, but I couldn't find it. But he had this concept of how Ingen just was bringing these people over and having like all these great people getting slaughtered over there. You know what I mean? Like having it like set up so that he could show that European arm wrestlers were more supreme than the American arm wrestlers. Because if you remember a few years ago, him and Devin, he like acted like he was hating Devin, like
Oh
they
yeah.
hated each other.
And now they're best
Now
buds.
they're best friends because they can make
Oh,
money with each other, and I get that part, but it was almost like he was like trying to get all these people to smash Devin.
yeah.
Devin had like 11 or how many matches did he have, that like 13 or 14
Yeah.
different matches, and then
Looks
of
like he
course,
enjoys when
and
Devin.
then Levon crushes them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
just, I don't know. Maybe it's just,
Yeah.
reading too much into it, but it's just interesting to me. And then when you see how people treat women and other people, it's really
Dude,
not,
Paul Lynn
and
flat out cleared Sarah and said she didn't do anything wrong. It's on me and us.
mhm,
And Engen still kept going at her, dude. Like
yeah.
Paul even told Engen directly, like, hey, it's not her fault. It was the event. And he's still going at her. And it's like, dude, come on.
Yeah.
I even
I feel
messaged
like,
him privately and said, hey, Engen, look, no disrespect. I think you just don't understand our 98% concept. I said, I'm willing to discuss it, this and that. I said, we love East versus West here, Turkey anyway. I think we always get the pay-per-view, this and that. And then he went and posted my comment publicly. And I was like, all right, this guy's a dickhead. Like, why would you, like a private conversation is a private conversation. Um, but then, he just kept going about our 98% concept. And I'm like, he just doesn't grasp. Like, we're not trying to claim that we represent 98% of the arm wrestling world. Because he was trying to make a point like, there's people here that don't even know you and this and stuff. And
of course.
he's like, you really only represent 0.01%. And our tournaments are this size compared to yours. And I'm like, why is this guy that's up here in the arm wrestling game even looking at us and starting an argument? It just made no sense to me. So then, he went on a podcast with Levon and them, and he's talking about us, and you could tell they were like, "Who cares?"
They
You know,
didn't even know
I mean,
what he
like,
was talking about.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're like, we have no idea what. But then I don't know if you noticed, but I thought this was ridiculous when like 20 American pros come out on the same day. They wake up and they're like, "Today I'm gonna release something about Engen's integrity." And I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, this is so fake and retarded. I was just like,
Like it's
blown
like the
away.
kidnappers trying to, like, they're there sitting there and
Yeah,
the
yeah,
guy got a gun to their head going,
yeah,
okay. And they're looking over going,
dude.
am I doing good? Am I doing good? Am I going to get an invitation back now?
The
Like,
guys on his end, like over there that did those videos too, they literally looked like they were in front of a firing squad and they're just reading a script. Like,
if 20 people have to go online and talk about my integrity, then
Yeah.
I'm not really doing a great job with it. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, I
Good.
don't need you to tell me and tell everybody how great of a person I am. I should just
Yeah.
do that by setting a great example of that, and
Yeah.
not disrespecting women online. I mean, that's just not a concept that we believe in over in the West here. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
and I feel like that's a culture thing, and I feel like that's a big religious thing. If you want to, you know, research other people's religion and how they treat women, I mean, that's just the concept that is that happens, and
Yeah.
it's just the way it is. And that's why there's a difference between, you know, East and West views and world
Yeah.
views and stuff. So, you know, and I'm not going down that rabbit hole, but I'm just saying in
Yeah.
general, that's where that concept comes from. And I feel like also too is the culture thing is, it's a
Yeah.
big thing. So, and I like that the high level competition has a platform, and
Absolutely.
I'll always support it. And
There's
because
room for everyone,
I made a comment on your post about him being a dictator, because that's how
Yeah.
I feel about all the promoters that get involved, that get to a high level. They all try to control the arm wrestling sport. I understand
Yeah.
that they have put all the money into it, but then all of a sudden they're trying to make money and almost exploit arm wrestling. And the arm wrestlers, they're just excited that they're getting on a
Yeah.
stage and be able to compete. So I understand that, you
Yeah.
know, but no one's gonna, like, you know, stand up for people's you know, just for, like, you want to talk about integrity, like I wouldn't really want to support people that bash women. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's not what I how I conduct myself.
Like
But
you went.
and also I'm like you, I'm part of that 98% too. I've been in the sport a long time, but I'm not on that elite level. I'm a realist, you know, and I don't want to go to Turkey anyway, even if I was. So, but the
Yeah.
thing is I'll always support those guys because I love arm wrestling, and I like to
Yeah.
see those people compete on a high level. So
Yeah. It's fun to
it's just
watch.
unfortunate that some things happen, you know,
Yeah.
and you know, people try to you know, not, you know, they don't want anyone ever to talk about it because it's
Yeah.
negative or whatever. But, you know, it has to be brought to light sometimes because you know, you really you get to understand how people are, you
Yeah.
know. You wonder where their true passion is. So,
Well,
and the thing
the
is,
unfortunate.
it's childish too. Like,
Yeah.
I wrote on your thing, oh, he's a dictator, and then he unfriends me or whatever. And it's
Yeah.
like, I don't really care anyway. I asked you one question 5 years ago about how to build up my hand and stuff, and
Yeah. And he posted it.
you gave me advice, and I appreciated that. And when you
Yeah.
said that, I laughed because I think everybody must message him for that because he's such
Yeah.
a
Yeah. Yeah.
great
I was
arm
like, what
wrestler.
exercises do you do for hand control? And he answered me, but then he posted it as it like he was trying to degrade me because I asked him a question, and I'm like, dude, I was a week into the sport when I asked you that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, come on, man. But yeah,
But
so I did a video like directly to him, and I just said, look, I like East versus West Turkey. East versus West America is a lot different than East versus West Turkey because, like, I don't know if you noticed last year, they had the finals and then they just let anybody in that showed up to pay to get in. And that took, to me, that took away from the integrity of the whole damn thing over here because all the guys that like went to the qualifiers and like didn't need to qualify because they could have just showed up at the finals and gave $100 and got in. And then this year with the Sarah thing, I'm like, how are they not on the same page where like everyone knows the rules? You know, if Artem was able to pull twice, then Sarah should have been able to. You know, as a promoter, they should have just said, "Oh, look, it already happened with someone else. We can't now do stop it with this person. Like, let's just it's one person. Let her go through. She pulled twice the year before because she qualified for two different weight classes. When did that change? They should have
yeah,
made it more clear. And Paul took responsibility for it, and Engen just kept on attacking Sarah. And it's like, man, this is not a good look.
well, hopefully they'll update their webpage. They'll
Yeah,
have the rules on there
I'm
so
sure
that
they
you
will
can
now.
go
Like
on,
Paul is going to make sure,
and you
that
know, and I think
everything's.
that that'll help people understand what's going on, because yeah, it can be frustrating, especially when you see other people able to pull two classes or whatever,
Yeah,
and then it kind of makes it into a free for all.
yeah, and I don't blame Artem. Like If they're letting you
No,
pull
it's no
and
one's
they didn't
fault. They're
notice, you just fucking do it,
Yeah, they're going in just pulling because they think they
Yeah,
can do that. So,
right.
but yeah, I think you're right too. Promoting, well, promoting an event, how much goes into that.
Yeah.
I mean,
A
it's
lot of
a
work.
kind of a thankless job. I mean, besides, putting on an arm wrestling event, but it's a lot of stress, a lot of behind the scenes that people don't understand. So,
Yeah.
and really this year, I think like FAL, Chance and those guys, it's their really, first whole season doing it by themselves. I think they're doing a great job, and I feel like with these little tiny mistakes, and you have all these other promoters together too. People are going to make
Yeah.
mistakes, and I feel like it gets cleared up. But I was really confused about the whole giving the prize money to the like. I don't know how that got messed up because that's a bracket thing. I mean, I never, you know what I mean? I never win.
And her name
I
got
know.
called, and then she got handed an envelope. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Yeah, it's just weird because I always know how I place in an event. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like,
And she
so,
just, I think because of everything that happened, and she was mad, and it was probably like a confusing moment. But once she realized the mistake, I mean, she corrected it.
oh,
And
yeah, yeah. But I
yeah,
think like the promoters, I mean, it's just, I
yeah,
never see like that
yeah.
happening.
No,
I've
you
never been
don't
to an
give an
event where
envelope to the
people,
wrong person.
yeah, it's usually they're pretty good
Yeah,
with that
yeah,
normally,
yeah,
buddy. So, but I feel like the sport's going in a great, you know, in a great direction.
yeah,
I'm excited to see the couple events that are coming up
yeah,
with the King of the Table,
yeah.
11. I wanted to bring up that with you and just kind of look
Paul,
at,
Paul Lynn versus Lachlan, dude.
yeah, what do you think of that match, man? I mean,
So I've seen, well, I saw like Lachlan pull, and I know, styles make matches, but I saw him pull um Toddzilla, and
yes.
Todd destroyed him. And I've seen Paul Lynn pull Toddzilla at many practices when they're both fresh. I think it's going to be a pretty good battle, you know. But I have Paul Lynn slightly ahead.
Yeah, I'm like that. I'm intrigued by that match, man. I'm big fans of both of these guys. I mean, I love Paul. He's such a great human being, man. He's just a great ambassador for the sport. And yeah, he super strong, dude.
Yeah,
It's gonna be a really intriguing match. I'm really looking forward to that.
yeah,
I Lachlan, man, you can never underestimate him either. So
yeah.
it's
No,
gonna be
it's a tough one to judge.
it's gonna be a great match. But of course, I'm going with Paul. Of course,
Yeah.
think it's going to be a close matchup. I'm interested in the Michael Todd and Lars match.
Hmm.
That's going to be intriguing. Lars is a big presser.
Yeah,
Michael, he pulled it off at East versus West. Was kind of a little different version of him, a little more calmer at the table,
yeah.
not as emotional. Seemed to have a calmness to him. So be interested to see how that match goes down. And you got Todd Hutchings back on the table. I mean, that's going to be a great match. And we
Yeah,
haven't seen really much from Todd lately, on social media. He's
right.
not really posting much on his YouTube anymore. So he's training hard, and I'll be looking forward to seeing that version of him. And the main event, man, it's going to be interesting with Hermes and Dennis. I mean, do you think this is going to be a mismatch the way Devin kind of took care of Dennis, and then
Yeah,
Hermes, and the data we saw with Levon, and
yeah. I mean,
the version.
unfortunately, I think it could be, because I don't think Dennis is what he used to be, I
It
think
seems
he's
to be, yeah.
different,
It seems
different.
he's at a different level.
Yeah, yeah,
He got the size back, but I don't
right.
know. And I wonder too, is like, do these guys like excel past him, like because of the health problems? And it seems like, because I see a lot of times just in North America here in arm wrestling, you see guys like, like I'll give you an example. Andre, I remember used to be always be able to smash Andre, and then all of a sudden, a couple years passed, and then boom, he's on
Yeah,
another level. Like
yeah, yeah.
it's so I wonder if people, just get to that next level, and then the other person just doesn't excel because of health problems or not being able to train. So
Yeah. Spot.
it'll
Yeah.
be it'll
It's
be interesting. That's for sure. So, and then we have coming up too on June 15th here in Florida, which I'm excited about. We're going to have the East versus West Challenger Series. That's going to be coming
yeah.
up.
Yeah. And you guys have two leagues down there now, right?
Yeah, we have Flow
Flow.
Arm.
Yeah.
Yep.
We had
Flow.
Mike. We had Mikey on the other night.
Oh yeah, yeah. I didn't get to
Yeah.
catch
Yeah.
that. How was that? Because
Good, dude. He seems like a cool dude.
yeah, he's a really cool dude. I like Mikey
Yeah.
a lot. But he's joined up with Brandon, and
Yeah.
he's going to be helping do the promotion. And I feel like what we talked about earlier in the show on
Yeah.
production value, I feel like with Pro Gear Gym, the way it's set up, because they did a few very the very first couple tournaments with the FAL
Yeah.
and Flow Arms, and they had it set up really nice with the background and stuff. So I think
Yeah.
maybe that will be a bigger production for them. So I might
Those
might
guys are
be,
both Mikey and Brandon are both great on the mic.
oh, they're amazing.
Yeah.
Brandon's amazing on the mic, man.
Yeah. Good stuff from those guys. Makes their
So
event seem very exciting.
and speaking of guys that are amazing on the mic, we got Travis and Derek Smith. They make great
Yeah.
commentators. They're going to be there.
Absolutely. That's great.
That's always a fun time. So it almost makes me want to stay home and watch the live stream.
Yeah. Yeah.
But some of these matches, man, I mean, it's incredible because I train with a lot of these guys from Florida here where they're
Yeah.
getting an opportunity to compete on a big stage,
Yeah.
And
Beasts in here. Yeah.
yeah, we got Dane Sellers. He's competing, and he's a new guy in the sport. He's been probably maybe 2 years now, but he's one of those big, huge bodybuilding guys that had good strength, that
Yeah.
really adapted, had strong pronation wrist, and
Nice.
he beat actually the big bodybuilder guy that Schoolboy just pulled.
Oh, yeah. What's his name?
Yeah, so he beat him at the Olympia
Yeah.
last year, which
Great.
was a big match. So he's going to be pulling, and I'm not sure. I don't know too much about his opponent. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name. I don't know if you know how, but that should be a good matchup. Carl Stanley and Shane Owens, those are two beasts. Shane's he's been in the sport a few years. I don't know if you're familiar with these two, but Carl, man, he's a legend here in Florida. He's been
Nice.
really pulling a lot lately.
Yeah.
We got Robbie and John Theron. That should be a good
That'd be
match.
interesting. Yeah.
Robbie, man, I don't know. Did you see Arm Wars when he beat?
Yeah, dude. He looked impressive.
Dude, he is
Strong guy.
impressive, and he's
His
just new to the game. So
his dad was one of our sponsors at Winter Blast.
yeah, he has what is it? The stem cell
Yeah,
company.
the stem cell. Yeah.
Nice. And
Hunter Knox, dude. Oh,
yeah, man,
that's
Hunter.
exciting.
What? That's going to be exciting to see him on the the international stage, so to speak. With
Yeah.
his opponent. I don't know a lot about
He's been crushing it.
here, but yeah, but Hunter, man, he's
Looks
phenomenal.
impressive.
So, and my training partner Matt King's got a big match with the number one guy in Sweden.
That's awesome.
Matt is incredible. I mean,
Yeah.
he's a really incredible under 200-pound arm wrestler. He has a hand of steel. Came from a rock climbing background. So
That'll do it.
yeah, that'll do it. So Passmore's got a match here from Georgia.
Yeah.
Wilton Brock will be pulling Matt Mass. That's going to be interesting. And I do believe that's left-handed. So
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Wilton has a dominant left. So it'd be interesting, man, because Wilton back in the day, he's another guy that you never hear of because he doesn't have social media, but his claim to fame was given to Devin Larrett Fitz when Devin competed in the 225 class at a WAL event.
Nice.
They had a really good matchup. So Brett Rakers,
Yeah, he's a beast.
he'll be pulling the Sweden guy left-handed. So I don't know much about that matchup. Robbie Russell's going to be pulling. Good to see
Yeah.
him finally on the big stage.
Robbie's a stud, dude.
Dude, he's
Yeah.
incredible. He's
Such a nice
incredible.
guy too.
Super nice guy.
Yeah.
And, seems like those guys that are friggin' lumberjacks, man, out there, tree guys
Yeah,
with a
yeah.
chainsaw, man.
Yep.
They have phenomenal pronation, hand and wrist. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kid is a super nice guy. I
Yeah.
really I'm a big fan. Big fan. We got the Shark and Emil, another Sweden arm wrestler. That's going to be a left-handed match. I just pulled with Emil when he was down, and he's feeling good. They had another couple weeks of preparing, but yeah, that should be a good match. Andre, man, he's just on another level.
Oh yeah.
It's going to be interesting. He's just like I said, he's just on another level. He really looked phenomenal in his last outing.
Yeah.
Derek Smith against Hutchinson. That should be a good matchup. Derek is coming into his own
Yeah.
recently with a couple big wins. Devin Larrett's kid against English. That
Yeah.
should be interesting. I mean, having the Larrett name speaks for itself, man.
Yeah.
So
But he's doing well on his own,
he is.
he's standing on his own 2 feet when he has these matches. He's doing really good.
It's incredible to see them just adapt to the sport because I know they, growing up in the sport, having their dad is Devin Larrett. I mean, of course, you're going to be arm wrestling, but I didn't see them like, getting really into the sport as far as a competitive nature
Yeah.
till
Like
over the last, recently. So it's really interesting to see that. And, he's going to have a promising future for sure.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then in the main cards, we got Cody Merritt,
Yeah.
left-hand phenom. Should be a really interesting matchup. I'm not too familiar with his opponent.
Yeah.
Matt Mask and Grundy. It's going to be an interesting match. They pulled at Arm Wars. Matt,
Yeah.
kind of O-class Brad. But Brad, man, you can't bet against this guy.
He's a stud, yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting, man. Brad is he's an awesome arm wrestler. So
Yeah.
I'm going to be cheering for him for that match for sure. He's a really smart arm wrestler too, man. I like the way he breaks stuff down. I mean, when you really get to talk to him, he really makes arm wrestling, breaks it into a simplistic format for you to understand a lot better. So, and everybody he trains with, man, really becomes like really good. Like we got Daniel Price and Ryan North. I mean, these guys are really becoming really phenomenal arm wrestlers. And then we got the main event. There's a little weight cap here, 205 kg. It's like a 231, I think. Rob Vincent and Jerome Loudon. That's going to be an interesting match, man. We got, Rob being the veteran in the sport, kind of coming back here, after a little hiatus a few years back, but now he's like back to grinding. Got a great YouTube channel. You guys check him out. I love the way he breaks down training. He's got a pretty interesting perspective. This is a good matchup, man. What do you think about this matchup, Ryan?
I think it's good. And I see Jerome, like, I mean, he's strong as hell. So I'm excited to see that. Two strong guys going at it.
Yeah, Jerome, man, it's amazing. He has really come in his own. He lost to Andre in the qualifier, but that one at it kind of was complaining, and I never hear him complain, dude. And like I made a video of those matches, and he had said that ref was the shittiest ref he's ever had to deal with, and that was really interesting because he doesn't even have a social media presence, really. I never see him on there. I never even knew he was on Instagram, to be honest with you. And then he made a comment about that. So I feel like, yeah, maybe he wasn't happy with the setup and the strap. Sometimes you can get kind of screwed in the setup. So arm wrestling's funny like that.
Yeah.
So what do you got going on coming up next? Are you competing soon? You got some promotions coming on?
I actually just tore my shoulder, so it's gonna be a little bit.
Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that.
Not even arm wrestling related. Like I fell at work and put my arm up to like stop.
That's the worst.
Yeah. So For me, I'm taking a little break there, but not the best arm wrestler anyway, so
Ah,
it's not
come
a big
on.
deal, you know. Um, we are helping Sean Hancock with an event next weekend uh,
Okay.
in Atlantic City, and then we're gonna plan probably 4 or 5 more events leading up to Winter Blast. And then Winter Blast this year is going to be crazy because, well, next year technically. Um, so Arm Gods is going to be doing their super matches Friday and Sunday at Winter Blast, and then Winter Blast will be Saturday. So they're coming to do their big show at our big show. So
Oh,
we'll see what
wow.
we'll see what happens, but that's the plan so far. So
Oh, that's incredible, man. That sounds
yeah,
like an amazing event.
yeah, it
And
should be
what
should be interesting.
what time of year is that going to be?
It's in March.
Okay.
Probably March 22nd is when we usually do it. But
Now, do you guys have it at the same venue each year, or?
we last year I think we maxed out our venue. So this year we're looking at like casinos, but man, are they terrible at getting back to people, you know? Like I
Yeah.
mean, it's a process to get these guys to like just answer an email, you know?
Yeah.
So
That's the way it is nowadays, man. Not
yeah,
everybody's jumping the gun, you know.
yeah.
So
The thing that helped though is Winter Blast being so big that now we actually have like sponsors hitting us up where it's not the other way around where like you're chasing sponsors. They're starting to like hit us up and be like, hey, I'd love to be a sponsor next year of Winter Blast. And I'm like, oh, this is
dude, that's
making it
incredible.
so much easier than me chasing down sponsors, you know?
Yeah, man. That's
So it's
good
cool.
stuff. You guys are really, you're really making a name for yourself, having sponsors looking for you now. So, and
Thanks.
I feel that's a great platform, man. I really appreciate what you're doing in the sport. It's great to
Thanks,
help the
man.
sport grow. You're really making a difference in the sport by helping it grow with the amateurs, because that's where it all begins, man. And then maybe we can get 98% kids, get the kids
Yeah.
involved.
Brandon wanted to do like a collaboration and do a summer blast down there in Florida.
Oh, that would be
That'd
incredible.
be kind of cool.
Yeah, man.
We'll see.
It'd be incredible to have you guys down
Yeah,
coming
well,
down
I
to
definitely want
Florida.
to come visit and check out some of the tournaments going on.
Yeah, for sure, man. Let me
we
know when
we
you
get a
come
bad
down.
rap sometimes because like like Engen attacking us, like our way of dealing with stuff like that is like humor. So people think like we're trolling, but it's like no, we never strike first. Like we go on defense mode. We're just better at it because we got a couple funny guys in our group. So like Engen, he kind of bullied the wrong guys because we love that stuff. So sometimes we get a bad rep as being trolls, but for the most part, it's in like defense mode, Someone does something to us and then we poke fun at it and we look like
Yeah,
ass.
you're not picking on people. Trolls
Yeah.
are people that go on and comment and pick on people all the time. If you're
Yeah.
defending yourself after someone kind of like,
Yeah. If
puts
someone's
you
a dick
down,
to us,
yeah,
we're
it's just a way
probably
of
going to
being.
make a
Yeah.
meme about them,
Some
like,
people don't react to it. Some people make
yeah.
funny memes, and
Right.
there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
You're not picking on anyone else. And I feel like
There's a
maybe
difference.
more people give 98% a chance, or you see what, go to an event, go to a Winter Blast, go to
Yeah.
watch one of your live streams. I mean, you guys
Yeah.
are really just supporting everybody. You're not
Yeah.
putting people
Anybody,
down.
even the guys up here in the north that don't like us, we still promote their events because to me, we'd be doing a disservice to the arm wrestlers. Not like who cares about promoters? You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
arm wrestlers should be able to go to any event they want and go get those points for Corey Miller's system.
Yes.
Like why should we make people choose? Like
Hmm.
go to everything. So the guys that don't like us up here, like they won't promote us, but we their power to say that we're terrible people because we're just promoting everyone. Like we're just happy to we made those. I don't know if you saw, we made a group for every state in the country. And
Okay.
people were like, oh, why would you do that? But so here's the reason is like, say you're the state of New Hampshire and you have an event going on and you throw a flyer in like some of these huge arm wrestling groups, like you don't really know who's seeing that flyer.
Yes.
So now you can target the states right around you where people are most likely to come to your event. So you can post it in New Hampshire, Vermont, Maine, Massachusetts, and like really target the demographic of people that are most likely to come. So we're hoping those groups will grow. And then, like, hey, people from this state are seeing my flyer. And,
Yep.
it's like a tool basically
Yep.
for anybody out there to use. And then we see what's going on and we can promote now people all over the country instead of just the Northeast. So,
And it doesn't get lost, like you said, in those big groups, so that
right.
when you go to that certain town or certain
Yeah.
state, you can see what events going on. I think that's a really brilliant idea. And the reason why you still promote other people that don't like you is because you don't live your life with your feelers out there.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
not
We can give
you're
a
not
shit about
crying
that.
and living your
Yeah.
life and oh boohoo Ryan, someone
Right.
made fun of me. Someone called
Yeah.
me
Dude.
fat.
And people call me
Whatever it
fat every day.
is.
And I'm like, fucking no shit. you know?
Good man. You guys have a great attitude. I really
Thanks,
enjoy what
man.
you're doing, brother. Thanks for coming on. I really
Thank
appreciate you
you.
taking
Thanks
the
for having
time.
me.
And I
We'll,
look
we'll have
forward
to
to,
have you on ours sometime.
I would love to, man. It'd be an honor.
That'd be great, man. Thanks.
All right, man.
See
Take
ya.
care. Have a great day, brother.